So this is the webinar for using VoterClick to input the results of your election. All the participants are on mute. If you have a question or a comment, please click the raise your hand button, or you can click the question. I think there's a question thing, and then I'll be able to see your question. So VoterClick has a few ways of entering the information about the results of your election. All of these are meant to be a alternative to the other systems that are provided by the state. So VoterClick interfaces with exactly the same data. It's the GOP data center data by authorization from the state party, and VoterClick is approved as a method of entering data as a result of the caucuses approved by James. We will have all the information from the GOP data center. In fact, I just received today all of the people who've registered to run for office will be uploading that. VoterClick is doing the same day balloting system for the state. And so this is another alternative, and I invite you to just do whatever's easiest for you. If you have suggestions for VoterClick, please make them. And if you if you like the other system better, then that's fine. So the first way that you can enter the election results, whether you use VoterClick for registration or not, is actually in the mobile application, in the VoterClick mobile application. There's a way of entering the election results. If you go into the VoterClick mobile app, which is available on Android or iOS, one of the choices here is enter precinct election results. And if you click that button, you get a screen here where it's asking you to identify which precinct you're entering the information for. And you can populate it in this way. Each county has a different password, so see your party leadership for the county information. But once you fill that in and you're authorized, then you'll get a screen like this. And this will have a list of all of your officers that you'll be electing, and it should have the correct number of delegates, which is something that the state system doesn't have. It kind of relies on you to enter the right number of delegates. Here you'll have exactly the correct number. So all you do if you want to select, for example, the precinct chair, is you click that select button right next to it. And then this is similar to the registration screen. If you've used VoterClick for registration, you're just going to identify the member of the precinct that is going to be in the system, assigned as the chair. So all you need is a few letters of the last name and the house number, and that'll give you a list of everyone who matches the criteria, which is probably going to be most of the time people live in the same household. As you can see, all of my family, I've elected them to several different positions, and I'm just going to tap on the one that applies to this president position, and here it's going to say that Robert Jordan Glad is elected as the precinct chair. Is that true? And when you hit submit, then you go back to this screen that says, yes, he's the guy. Now notice if you're on this screen here, if you don't see the name that you want, if you click add here at the bottom, because it is possible to elect someone who affiliated that night, someone who registered as a Republican the night of the caucus can be elected as a delegate, and we actually had that happen many times in the last cycle. So you can actually add them right here. If you open this up, you'll be able to enter the name and the birthday, all the information that's on the voter registration, and you'll be able to report them as being a delegate or an officer. This is also a feature that's not currently on the state system. So that's really how simple it is. When you get done entering all of these positions, you simply enter post-election results, and all the information will be updated to the GOP data center. Also remember that if you're on the main menu for VoterClick under Help, The very first item there is report an issue or leave feedback, and that's your way of reporting any issues or any feedback that you have, any suggestions that you have. We do really listen to people's suggestions, so you're welcome to use that feature for communicating your wants and needs. So that's one method of entering the election results using the VoterClick mobile device. Is there any questions about that before I go on to the web system? Okay, Michelle, I'm going to take you off mute. Go ahead. What's your question? We should be able to hear you now. I'm sorry. Is it Michael? I can't see it very well. Steele? Or is it Michelle? Nope. Okay. Let's see. Bill, do you have a question? Go ahead. You're off of mute. Well, I'm not being able to hear you for some reason. So if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Or I think there is a question button that you can click on, and then I'll be able to see your questions. Can you type on more than one name? So let me go back to this screen. Oh, can you click on more than one name? No. So you have to do each individual position one at a time. And the reason for this is, let me go back to this. So for example, you might be asking if I can just click on all the state precincts. And the answer is no. And the reason is we want to know what order they're elected in. That's handy sometimes if there's an error and you need to identify who was elected last. So we do sort of have them in an order. So you're only allowed to do one at a time if that's the question. Okay, if there's any other questions, let me go to this screen and we'll take a look at the online system. Now this KirbyTesting7.com, make a note of this because this is a testing site that uses test data. It's exactly the same as the VoterClick.com site, but it uses test data, and so you can actually go on there, you can do trainings, you can do whatever you want to the data and without hurting anything. Be aware though, it does act exactly like the VoterClick site. So one of the features that VoterClick has is it tracks changes and reports changes. So if you make a bunch of changes, it will send out emails to people who are being changed. Under Party Tools, we have added this feature right here, Enter Caucus Results by Spreadsheet. So if you are taking registrations by the spreadsheet that the state is providing, which is a roster of everyone that could attend the caucus, and then there's a check mark on the right-hand side. I would show it to you, but actually let's see if I can show it to you very quickly here. At Utah GOP, underneath the caucus training information, there is a sample roll. We haven't received these yet because we're late getting everything from the state. And so I don't think anyone's actually seen these, but this is how the roll will look as it comes from the state. And by the way, we'll also be able to print this out from VoterClick. So that feature will probably be available by tomorrow or Monday morning. So if you haven't got the rolls printed from the state, you can print out your own from VoterClick, and it'll be the same as this. But you notice on the right-hand side, there's these check boxes, and the idea is that you go down and put an X here if they're a caucus attender, or if they're a state delegate, you put an X, etc. So that's fine, and our goal is to make the process as easy as possible. So what VoterClick has is if you go in here to enter caucus results by spreadsheet, you'll have to log in, which I've already done, so it's not showing my login. And then you have to select the precinct that you are entering the results for. Now, if you are a district chair, you'll see all the precincts in your district. If you're the county chair or county secretary, you'll see all the counties, all the precincts in your county. If you're a precinct chair, you'll only see your own precinct in this list. So let's pick one I know, which is my own precinct. And you see this form is exactly like the printed form. If there's a change to the email, you put it in here. If there's a new phone number, you put it in here. Then you just check the boxes that match the form, and everything is copacetic. You'll notice that if there's already an email, it shows here. If there's already a phone number, it shows here, just for reference. Hopefully on the printed form, they're only updating the email. I think that's another flaw of the state system is they're not showing you the current email, so people don't know if you have the current email or not. The VoterClick version will show the email, and then it'll have a little additional space in which to update or correct the email. I think they're trying to save space, and frankly, I feel that the most important thing is to get accurate contact information, and so the VoterClick sheets will maybe take a few more extra sheets and extra pages to give you room to write that in. So the most important thing is after you enter everything, and this is the whole precinct, so you've got all your check-in sheets, just add the information, check the boxes that you need. Notice that the boxes are exactly the same in the same order as the sheet, as the check-in sheet. And then once you get that all done, you go all the way down here to the bottom. This is the only tricky part, is you need to scroll to the bottom, and then here's the Save Changes button. Now, right now, we're updating the database, so you can't really fool with this, but tomorrow, after the database is updated, you can go in here and you can use the test information under Kirby 7, that's kirbytesting7.com, and you'll be able to do a sample check-in, and then you'll be able to go in like you always do under your precinct tools, party tools rather, to go into the information about the precinct and check and see if the changes were made. So you'll be able to know your own self. You'll be able to do your own testing, make sure the system's working and there's no fear of not having the information reported. You'll be able to do your own testing right there in Kirby Testing 7. And so if I go to show my own precinct here, oh, that's the 23, I need 24. You should have already seen this screen. So listing here now is all the officers for this precinct, and so anyone that you mark as an officer should show up in this list. Then if you go and do this in Kirby Testing 7, you can make sure it's all working, and then voila, you've got a system that you can be happy and comfortable with. So let me stop here and just ask if there are any questions so far. There will be an edit button if by chance you dork yourself and you hit submit, and then you find there's another sheet. We'll have another edit button that you'll be able to go in and make changes. But it's a little bit more complicated because once you do all, you'll be able to go in and edit and click all the boxes again until you're sure you have all the boxes. So, and then you can always do as you have been. If you want to enter new voters here on, then you have to do it on this screen on the update or view delegates and officers. And right here, so let's say that, for example, there was someone who was previously unaffiliated. I don't know anyone who's unaffiliated, but let's see if I can find someone. If you want to find someone who's not a Republican who's elected, and you're entering here online, notice that in that spreadsheet again, there's no place to put brand new people, right? So if you elect somebody who's newly elected, I actually don't know how you enter that in the state system. But if you click on look up this name, it'll give you a list of everybody whose last name starts with that. And if I can pick this one, and I can see that, oh, they're a registered Republican, but pretend that they're unaffiliated. I could still put in their information here, and then I would just, I could assign them to their different, assign them to the different offices that they're assigned to. I have to put this away in order to scroll down. There we go. Okay, I would just click on precinct chair, precinct vice chair, county delegate, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And this is the same way we've always entered. Then I click on update information, and the person would appear in the list. If I need to add a new voter who was not previously, so if they're a registered voter, but if they're a different party or they're unaffiliated, they can be located here in this list. Here's one, for example, Mr. Smith. There's no party affiliation, so we would have to make sure that we got his voter registration. But if they're a brand new voter, we can go right here, add a new voter, and here we can enter in the information again from the voter registration. All right, so that's really as simple as it is. There's 17 minutes worth of everything you could possibly imagine on how to enter Caucus results in VoterClick. So I'll take everyone off of mute here for a second, since it's a pretty small group, and let's see if I can unmute all. Maybe I can't. Let's see. Okay, well, I can't unmute all. So if you have a question, go ahead and click on the question box and ask it now, or raise your hand and I'll see if I can call on you again. All right, so let's try Patricia. If I take you off of mute. Patricia, can you hear me? And can I hear you? I'm still not hearing you, so let me take this question from, okay, good, here's some questions that I can answer. The question is, just to clarify, we will not be using the enter precinct delegates and officers at the top of the caucus data entry selection. Just a second, I'm thinking about that. The enter precinct delegates and officers at the top of the caucus. So actually, that's the system that we used a couple of years ago. So let me just show that. So this enter precinct delegates and officers, yes, you can still use that if you prefer. It looks like I haven't got it set up right now, but yeah, I'll have that available. That's exactly the same system we used 2 years ago. If you want to use that, that's fine. You'll be able to use that. How can I get the county password? Contact your county party secretary. If your county party secretary isn't worried about it or doesn't know what the password is, I can, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the default passwords. If that password doesn't work, then you'll need to contact your county party secretary. So here's the default passwords. And then if the counties want to change it, that's up to them. The default for the election results is election, all lowercase. Okay. You're welcome, Linda. Let's see. I do love the new feature using the spreadsheet. Awesome. Thanks for the feedback. We're always looking for ways to try and make things easier for you guys. That really is the purpose of VoterClick, is to make the caucus system run smoothly. Okay, so downloading the precinct information should be available tomorrow, and it will be your own VoterClick password. So if you want to print a roster out of VoterClick, then it's just the same password. Here on your party tools, you go down to I think it's get a report of voters for your area, but I'll make sure there's something that says get a caucus check-in sheet or something, and you'll be able to use your own password for that. So Garrick says there's no sound, but it seems like other folks are hearing me. So Garrick, I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what to tell you, but maybe it's not on stereo. Check to make sure you've got both channels in sound. Question, since there's a precinct chair is also a delegate, I guess maybe you're looking at this with me, will their name be automatically put in the delegate spots? No. The reason is that some counties have automatic delegates and some don't. So to make it consistent for everyone, if your county has an automatic delegate, like the precinct chair is automatically a state delegate, then you'll need to add them as a state delegate as well as a precinct chair. Can we print out the spreadsheet after it is filled out? So that's an interesting idea. I have to think about that. We haven't included that so far because you can already get a report of your, using this, you can get a report of your attendees, delegates, and officers. So it does the same function. It just doesn't print it out in that spreadsheet format. So for now, that's probably what we'll go with. Are all registered Republicans put on the check-in sheets? Yes. The check-in sheet should have all the registered Republicans and only the registered Republicans. So anyone that's not on the check-in sheet must fill out a voter registration form. And will you get it prior to the caucus? Well, that's a good question. We're now 2 days away from the caucus, and the state still has not printed out those sheets and distributed them. So that's why I'm working very hard to make sure that you can print out your own from VoterClick, just in case those don't make it around. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, someone says their kids are really loud. All right. Okay, so someone said sound is not available if you logged into the site before I logged on. So you just need to close and reopen the link. Okay. But I will, of course, if you don't have any, if you don't have sound, then you're not hearing this, and that won't do you any good at all. So you can use your password as Secretary Treasurer. Yes. The password will stay your password will stay the same. Your account stays the same as long as you are re-elected as the Secretary Treasurer. Now, I do need to note that everybody needs to put in the new election information. So if you have the same precinct chairs elected again, you still need to report the precinct chairs having been elected. Hopefully that's obvious. Repeating the password, the default password is election. I'll put it here in the chat just for making sure everyone's got it here. Okay, so election is the default password, and there you go, repeating it. The current registered Republican list, I'm not sure how current it is. I just received it from the GOP data center last week, so I'm assuming it's fairly current. But anyone who's registered to vote in the last week or maybe 2 weeks is just going to have to register again at the caucus. So it's the most current list that's available to me, and if people are on the list, then they'll just have to fill out the form again. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, extending the deadline to register. That was a state decision. That's through the Eventbrite system. And I don't know why they extended it, except for I think they wanted to maximize the number of people who have the opportunity to vote online. Okay. Any final questions before we go? All right. If you do have any questions, let me put my email in the chat box. So kirby@kirbyglad.com. Go ahead and send me any questions that you have. Yes, exactly, Nathan. Yeah, so we can maximize the number of annoyed people. Yes, that seems to be a lot of the reason why we do a lot of things. This recording will be put on the website again at kirbyglad.com under video recordings. So thanks again, and I will send out a note. The training, this training should be on the website probably tonight sometime, so it should be available tomorrow. But let's see. I think I have a few minutes. I'll try and get it on in the next 15 minutes. If not 15 minutes, then it'll be in the morning. All right. Thanks everyone for attending, and this concludes the webinar.